G'day everyone, Diesel here from Getting Around Oz, Camper Trailer Travelling. Thanks for checking out a video today. Very exciting for me to share this one with you. A few weeks ago we picked up a new car. The answer is yes, we're going to be using a different car to travel, explore and four-wheel drive around the place. There's a few reasons for that and I'll sort of share those with you a bit later on. If you're wondering what's happened to the Pajero, again I'll sort of tell you about that in a bit, and I'll tell you a little bit of a story about how we came to our decision and how we actually settled on what we did. What we thought we wanted at the start had changed and turned into be something else. But for the moment, grab yourself a drink. Next week we'll be getting back into the trip series and we'll probably finish that one off in the next few weeks, but for the moment, make yourself comfy. Let's get into the video. Hope you enjoy it. Cheers. If you like what we do and want to see more content from us, check out our Patreon page where we currently have a 7-day free trial available. We are powered up by iTech gear and we use Vic off-road gear everywhere we go. So let's get into it. Now, I guess I'll just start off with a poll that I ran on the channel, and well, I guess all I'll say, firstly, thank you to everyone who voted. It's good fun when I do these things and you guys get involved, and it's a few comments on there as well, which was pretty cool. So I guess I'll start with, I'll chuck up on the screen the percentages as it came through, but I think you'd agree all these cars are very capable, in their own way, and all have pros and cons essentially, and all would make a great tow vehicle. But I guess we'll start with the Nissan Patrol. We're looking at a Y62. In the day we wanted something maybe between 3 to sort of 7 years old at the most, and maybe around 100,000 Ks. Patrols we looked at in our price range were, maybe 180 to 230,000 Ks in the clock, and I was definitely keen to get a Nissan Patrol. I'll be honest with you, Gully can do a lot of things, can get a lot of places. I was at petrol V8, and the fuel usage and how much it cost to run one of those things, it just wasn't the right way for us to go. Yeah, like trying to work out distance between petrol stations and what fuel prices are like around the country, and going the places we like to go, it's going to cost a bloody fortune just to run this thing, and suddenly it just makes it it just adds an expense to a trip, and I feel like fuel prices are only going to go up anyway, so that kind of ruled that one out for us. Geez, I do like them, I've got to be honest with you. What do we go with next? So we'll stay with sedans for the moment. So we'll go with the Isuzu MUX. Now, we drove one in particular that was bloody beautiful. It was a very nice car. It had airbags in the suspension. It was just a bloody nice car, to be honest with you, and we were very excited about it. I guess the space in the back, so a 7-seater setup, and the one we looked at was like, not quite ideal considering we're going to need to put a fridge and those types of things in the back. It kind of didn't matter to us because it was, it just looked very nice. But we took it for a drive, and then we just found out, for us, it was just felt a bit sluggish. I've got to be honest with you, having driven the Pajero's got plenty of bloody grunt, and we drove the MUX and it was a bit underwhelming, unfortunately, and it struck that one off. Then we looked at Ford Everest. You can see we're definitely looking at wagons. We felt like the wagon was probably the best fit for us in travelling as a family and those types of things. It just felt like it was the right way for us to go. So we looked at some Ford Everest, and the Everest we found, it felt like probably just the back area of the car was probably a bit shallow, and it didn't feel like there was enough room. Wasn't a major thing. We were happy to get past that, but then for what we wanted in the price range and those types of things, we just couldn't find one, that was right for us. Sometimes it's just a gut feel. You feel it or you don't, and for us, if either one of us wasn't feeling it, it was just off, and this is where things took a turn. So we were always looking at wagons because we felt that dual cabs, there wasn't enough room in the back, in the rear seats, because we're going to be travelling with kids. The kids are 8 and 10 at the moment. They're going to be growing and growing and growing. They're growing like weeds now. So what do the next 2 to 4 years look like? And we didn't even look at these to start with. But when we looked at an Everest, we're at a car yard. I think it was an MG car yard, and there was 2 Raptors right next to it, and thought, dreaming a bit. You know, I'd never seen one up front and, you know, in person, so to speak, and had a bit of a look, and like clearly it's not the car for us. It's there was a Ranger Wild Track right next to it. Sat in the back seats and went, oh, hang on, maybe we're wrong about this. The rear seating problem, you know, it wasn't a problem. It was like, okay, there's actually enough room in this. So we went and had a bit of a look, and then we took it for a drive, and the sound of it, the feel of it, that changed our perspective. To be honest with you, suddenly it was like, oh no, wasn't quite ready for this, so it kind of threw us off. And it's like, geez, a ute, I'm not sure about a ute. Maybe impractical for us because we're a family, you know, we're always going to need to take things to fit into the back of the car, and what'll that look like? And so suddenly it was, okay, dual cabs to go. The D-Max was the other one. And anyway, everyone knows like the Isuzu D-Max is a very capable car and can do a lot, reliability. You can do a lot of different builds and a lot of different setups, and they look amazing. We actually got a neighbour here that pulls up, and, you know, I've seen it and went, whoa, I'll tell you what, that looks pretty bloody nice. And then, so suddenly it was, yep, D-Maxes and Ford Rangers are the go. We looked at a Wild Track X, which is the top of the range of the Rangers before you get to the Raptor. Difference is they've got the electric sort of tailgate, sliding back thing. Sorry, I can't think of what it is right now. They have the nudge bar and the factory snorkel, the factory light bar at the front, and, you know, just a few little extra bits and pieces. Nearly went for one of those, but we didn't. And we decided, I looked at a heap of bloody utes and decided a ute wasn't it for us. It's got to be one with a canopy. That's where we were. So it was a D-Max or a Ranger. Both were very attractive. The D-Max was a very nice vehicle. Very happy with it. And again, with the Rangers, there's a lot of those on the market. There's a lot of different types, variants, builds, specs, and all that sort of stuff. And once we settled on that, it was a case of finding something with a canopy, something that had a decent amount of things done to it already, because we don't have the money and we don't have all the gear, you know, to go into something new. It's got to be reasonably capable. It sort of really needs to be ready to go to be able to use at the moment, and it definitely sort of lowered the opportunities, so to speak, and we were very close on a couple of vehicles, but D-Max or Wild Track. Well, here she is. Ultimately, this one here, we just knew it was for us. Both of us sort of seen it, you know, went, it's got this, it's got this, it's got this, it's got this. And it just had a heap of things that we knew we were going to need to get, but we don't need to. We don't need to spend any money on this thing to take it camping straight away, which was really good. This one also has sort of provisions and a few things on it which make setting it up a bit easier as well. So again, it sort of financially, it just makes sense for us. And, you know, it was a very hard decision, but as soon as we see this one, we knew it was for us. Let's have a bit of a look around this one here. I'm not going to do anything sort of real depth. I'll sort of just show you a few bits and pieces. And anyway, let's get into it. Rightio. So with the Rangers, there was 3 different types we looked at, and geez, I tell you what, I drove a few. So you got the XLT, which is essentially the top of the base models. Then you got the FX4, which is the sport version, if you like. So it has a few little extra bits and pieces, and it just sort of sharpens it up a little bit. Then you got the Wild Track, which is the variant under the Raptor. Now the Wild Track's the one with the electric seats and, you know, just all those little bits and pieces that sort of just make it a bit nice and a bit easy to use, I guess. The interior is a bit nice. You've got the seats that are finished off with a, you know, particular Wild Track sort of setting, the dash and all those types of things. And, you know, once I sort of I guess I'll probably say that with the Pajero, it had all those little electric things, you know, being the VRX model, so we couldn't go back from that essentially. So it was, if it was going to be a Ranger, it was only going to be a wild track. Now with the canopy here, this is an ARB one. I'm not sure what model it is, but this one actually has central locking. It opens with a button, so there's no knobs or any of that sort of stuff. You hit the button and, you know, the window pops out from there. This also has the gas struts on the tailgate here, which was nice. Now, something else I liked about this as well is it's actually got the structural support built in here to actually sort of bear more weight on the roof. So I actually put a roof rack on the top, as opposed to, obviously normally with a canopy, you know, you're not supposed to sort of load any sort of real weight on the top, as it's not designed for that. But this one, we can actually do it there. So that's actually really nice there. It does have the roof racks on there at the moment, but fairly likely over time I'll probably go with a, you know, looks more like a platform sort of roof rack, and, you know, that way sort of I feel like it's going to give us more options. Now this one's pretty much set up to put a battery and a fridge in here as well. So this one has actually got the, you know, the bolts here fitted already for a fridge slide. Just there, it's got the other 4 bolts to fit a battery. The cabling's there all ready to go, so I can actually sort of run a DC charger off a battery box or something like that. So that sort of stuff, that work effectively is already done for me as well. So that's very easy to, you know, just to put a couple of bits in there and actually bloody start using it straight away. Now to open this one up here, hit the button, bang, open, she pops. Now that one's actually set up to run off the key as well. So when I lock the car, I lock the canopy as well, which is pretty handy. Now something we didn't get around to fitting on the Pajero was a snorkel. We definitely got some quotes for it, but we never got around to it, I guess, because probably the price, and, you know, it's probably only north of Australia, sorry, that we're probably ever going to use it. But for some things that we want to do, this is something we're going to need to get, and this one here has actually got it fitted already. So again, something else we didn't need to worry about. Now this one here was something that was very attractive for us. This one here has actually got a GME 2-way radio built in as well. So Ariel on here, the actual fitting of the handset itself is in a prig of a spot. It's actually in the bloody leg well. Sorry, the footwell is the worst spot in the world, so I'm definitely going to move it, but that's something I don't have to get and I don't have to bloody install. Now this one here is an ARB bull bar. Again, it's got the provisions for spotties here as well, so there was some there before. It also has the provisions here for a winch as well. Now this is something we are going to have to sort out. So this one here comes with the 18-inch rims here. I'll tell you what, there's some nice mags on a lot of the wild tracks and D-Maxes around the place, but it was good enough for us. Only problem is it does have on-road tyres, so we will need to upgrade that one there to some all-terrains at some point, but, you know, that's a bit of a later problem, that's for sure. And here is a 6-speed auto, so it is a 3.2 litre diesel as well. So you can see here it's all ready to go. This tow bar here is all fitted. This one here doesn't have a DO35 sort of hitch there, but I've got the other one on the Pajero that we can use for this one. It does have the 12-pin socket there, and it does have the Anderson plug. This car does have a red arc brake controller fitted in as well, so legally we can tow the camper trailer without any problems at all. So there you go, that's our new car. We're very happy. We only had a couple of weeks so far, so still going through a lot of things. I won't bore you with a lot of the electronic stuff. A lot of it's pretty standard, you know, for a vehicle like this, and, you know, very happy with it. It drives very nicely. The interior is immaculate, and I don't have to do any work, you know, right now to take it towing, which is nice. Yes, it doesn't have a lot of things that I'm bloody used to and I need. It's perfect for us. It's got everything, you know, that we wanted in the car, and probably a little bit more, to be honest with you. We didn't sort of think we could get all these bits and pieces on here for the price that we got it at, and, you know, we got it for a bargain that we think anyway, and it's bloody nice. However, not exactly sure what we're going to do with the back here. There's a million different ways you can set up a, you know, a tub or a canopy, but I've got no idea at this point. Going through a lot of ideas. You know, if there's anyone, you know, got any ideas, any suggestions, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. You know, if you've got a Ranger, or if you've had a Ranger and done a few setups and done some things that you liked, or perhaps there was some things you didn't like and some things we should watch out for, I'd love to bloody hear about it. Or if there's any sponsors who want to get on board, let us know. At this point in time, we don't have any gear to go in this thing, and right now trying to work out where we should start. And again, would love to know from yourselves, you know, what is the first thing we should get? Sorry, should it be a fridge? should it be a roof rack? And that way we can start, you know, with an awning or a, you know, a shower tent and those types of things. I don't know, lots to work through at this point, but what have we done with the Pajero? Well, the truth of the matter is the Pajero was Anita's sort of everyday car, and it probably wasn't ideal for us to use as the, you know, for the channel going forward, to be honest with you. You know, we bought it initially at the start to do our lap with. We didn't plan to do all this sort of stuff for the channel at the start. So things have evolved, you know, things are taken off, and, you know, we're sort of going with it in another direction now, which is very exciting. But with that, I sort of feel like we should, you know, sort of move with the times. We have still got the Pajero. We haven't sold it, don't want to sell it. It's a fantastic car. It's been great for us, and Anita actually wanted to get a second Pajero. All right, it might be normal for a lot of people to think, well, one was bloody fantastic, why don't you get another one? It was like, well, I don't want two cars the bloody same. It's just, it feels a bit bloody boring, but no, we're keeping that. It's a fantastic car. Everything we've done to it is staying on it. However, Anita may sell it down the line. You know, that it is her sort of her runaround, so to speak, but we're pretty keen to maybe try some forward drive and stuff. So it might be, you know, me out here with this one and Anita out with a Pajero, you know, doing some sort of forward drive and stuff, some, you know, girls versus boys sort of stuff. But ultimately, you know, she's keen to do some forward driving. You know, she's not the most confident person on the camera, so, you know, if you've got any words of support for her and would love to see her in the channel doing some of these things, drop them in the comment. I'll make sure I show her them. But she's pretty keen to get out and do some forward drive and stuff, and, you know, we'll sort of see where that goes. But for the moment, the Pajero will likely be the car, you know, for a bigger trip we got coming up, unless something happens and, you know, we get a bit of gear to put in this one to, you know, sort of make it a bit more practical for what we need. Because at the end of the day, with what we do now, we just need so much more from a car than, you know, what the average person would. Now, if you're interested in sort of seeing our journey to buying this car, you know, there was a few things that happened that I sort of haven't gone on about, because there's some negative sort of experiences we had along the way. If you're interested in seeing some of that stuff, check out our Patreon page. We actually got a 7-day free trial there, and, you know, you can sort of see a lot of behind the scenes sort of stuff and a few extra bits and pieces that we've done from, you know, last trip. Next week we'll be back with the trip series. There is still a little bit more to go on that one yet, and, you know, very excited to sort of show those. But at the moment, if you've subscribed to our channel and, you know, you're liking our videos, we really appreciate it. But if you're checking it out for the first time, you know, check out some of our other videos as well, and hopefully you find something that you're liking. But for the moment, we'll catch you next week. I'm Diesel for Getting Around Oz, camper trailer traveling. Hooroo. Now, this one here was very attractive. Something we were looking to get done as well is we're looking to get a snorkel put on the Pajero, but we never got round to it. This one here, the Wild Track one is essentially the version under the Ranger. The Wild Track is the variant under the, but the Wild Track is the variant under the,